Good evening, one and all. Welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 78 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030, and Viksit Bharat at 2047. As part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
पुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं पुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते शुभं पुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं पुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue today's sessions and commemorations. Today, we are celebrating and commemorating World Philosophy Day, which is celebrated every year on 20th November. By celebrating World Philosophy Day each year on the third Thursday, especially of November, UNESCO underlines the enduring value of philosophy for the development of human thought, for each culture, and for each individual. Philosophy is an inspiring discipline as well as an everyday practice that can transform societies by enabling to discover the diversity of the intellectual currents in the world. Philosophy stimulates intercultural dialogue by awakening minds to exercise of thinking and the reason confrontation of opinions. Philosophy helps to build a more tolerant, more respectful society. It thus helps to understand and respond to major contemporary challenges by creating the intellectual conditions for change. On this day of collective exercise in free, reasoned, and informed thinking on the major challenges of our time, all of the UNESCO partners are encouraged to organize various types of activities, philosophical dialogues, debates, conferences, workshops, webinars, cultural events, and presentations around the general theme of the day, with the participation of philosophers and scientists from all branches of natural and social sciences, educators, teachers, students, press, journalists, and other mass media representatives, and the general public. World Philosophy Day belongs to everyone, everywhere who cares about philosophy. UNESCO leads it, but does not own it. In order to build a better world, to move towards an ideal of peace, we know that we must adopt a philosophical approach. Namely, we must question the flaws of our world beyond the tumult of crisis. Philosophy is therefore essential when it comes to defining the ethical principles that should guide humanity. 20th November is also commemorated as Africa Industrialization Day. So every 20th November is commemorated and celebrated as Africa Industrialization Day. Industrialization for development is of critical importance for sustained and inclusive economic growth in African countries. And industry can enhance productivity, increase the capabilities of the workforce, and generate employment by introducing new equipment and new techniques. Industrialization, with strong linkages to domestic economies, with will help African countries achieve high growth rates, diversify their economies, and reduce their exposure to external shocks. This will substantially contribute to poverty eradication through employment and wealth creation. In July 1989, the Organization of African Unity, OAU, conducted its 25th ordinary session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Africa Industrialization Day was announced on November 20 during this session. Within the framework of the Second Industrial Development Decade for Africa, 1991 to 2000, the United Nations General Assembly in December 1989 proclaimed 20th November Africa Industrialization Day. Since then, the United Nations system has held events on that day throughout the world to raise awareness about the importance of Africa's industrialization and the challenges faced by the continent. Since 2018, Africa Industrialization Day has been commemorated with week-long efforts. This week, Africa Industrialization Week will be held in Kampala, Uganda, from 17 to 21st November 2025 under the theme Transforming Africa's Economy Through Sustainable Industrialization, Regional Integration, and Innovation. The theme underscores the centrality of sustainable industrialization, regional integration, and innovation in advancing Africa's structural transformation agenda. Held on the margins of Africa Industrialization Week, the fourth edition of the African Women in Processing Forum, AWIP, and the first African Youth Startups Forum will provide dedicated platforms to empower women, women-led enterprises, and youth innovation, strengthen value chain participation, and catalyze partnerships and investment opportunities across the continent. So the Agenda 2063, adopted in January 2050 by the heads of the states and governments of African Union in Addis Ababa, is African blueprint and the master plan for transforming Africa into the global powerhouse of the future. Based on 7 aspirations and 20 priorities, it is the continent strategic framework that aims to deliver its goal for inclusive and sustainable development. And it is a concrete manifestation of the Pan-African drive for unity, self-determination, freedom, progress, and collective prosperity pursued under Pan-African and African Renaissance. The need to envision a long-term 50-year development trajectory for Africa is important, as Africa needs to revise and adapt its development agenda due to ongoing structural transformation to ensure inclusive growth, sustainable development, political unity, and respect for democracy and human rights. Agenda 2063 and the SDGs are intertwined, as the two programs aims at a more sustainable common future on healthy planet. Twentieth November is also celebrated and commemorated as World Children's Day every year. My Rights and My Day, or My Day, My Rights World Children's Day is UNICEF's global day of action for children by children, marking the adoption of the Convention on the Rights of the Child on November 20. Around the world, children are standing up and talking about their lives, their hopes, and their rights. From the moment the sun rises, children wake up to a world shaped by choices they didn't make. But every child everywhere also wakes with rights, including the right to be protected, to learn, and to have their own voices heard. It's time to listen to children to understand what their lives are like and how their rights are present, missing, or pursued every day. Join us, let's amplify children's voices and stand up for the rights of every child. So listen to the future, stand up for the children's rights. World's Children's Day is UNICEF's Global Day of Action for Children by children, marking the adoption of the Convention on the Rights of the Child. Child rights are human rights, they are non negotiable and universal. But in too many places, today children's rights are being misunderstood, disregarded, or even denied and attacked. Upholding children's rights in the compass to a better world today, tomorrow, and into the future. The World Children's Day, join us and listen to the future. By listening to the children, we can fulfill their rights to self expression, understand their ideas for a better world, and include their priorities in our actions today. 21st November is commemorated and celebrated as World Television Day every year. Television continues to be a single largest source of video consumption through screen sizes. Those screen sizes have changed and people create, post, stream, and consume content on different platforms. The number of households with television sets around the world continue to rise. The interaction between emerging and traditional forms of broadcast creates a great opportunity to raise awareness about the important issues facing our communities and our planet. In the 21st century, the purpose of TV, as it's not just a one way channel for broadcast and cable content anymore, modern televisions offer a wide range of multimedia and interactive content, such as streaming videos, music, and internet browsing. So, despite the shift in audiovisual content consumption to different platforms and the constantly evolving technology, TV remains an important communication tool. The biggest divide, however, has been in how we receive these images. Traditional over the air TV channels, a form of broadcasting transmitted via radio waves to antennas in our homes, appear to be slow decline in favor of streaming companies whose TV signal is received through bandwidth internet connections. It remains to be seen whether the decline of traditional television will increase as the years go by, or whether two formats will coexist and compete for viewers' attention in parallel. The United Nations provide a suite of multimedia products and services covering the work of United Nations both at headquarters and around the world to reach the audience and support the work of the international news media. Today is also commemorated as Family Volunteer Day on November 22nd, especially in US, annually on Saturday before Thanksgiving or 2 days after the third Thursday in November 20 this year. So volunteering allows people to serve others and give back to society. Families can come together and help other families build a holistic community or neighborhood that thrives on an atmosphere of collaborative compassion and empathy. So people have been volunteering for many years. During the American Civil War in 1800s, women volunteered their time to save supplies for the soldiers fighting in the war. Most of the time, volunteers are trained for their work in medicine, education, and rescue operations. Sometimes volunteering work takes place in emergencies during a natural disaster. There is even a new type of volunteering that has branched out in recent years, known as volunteer tourism. Family volunteering is when families work together to support their communities or neighborhoods, which strengthens the community and the family. To appreciate this humble and kind effort, Points of Light created Family Volunteer Day in 1990. The day is sponsored by Disney's Friends for Change and managed by Generation. on the Youth and Family Service Division of Points of Light. They inspire, equip, and mobilize the youth to make an impact through service learning, and leadership development. They also focus on strengthening existing networks, creating pervasive calls to action, and advocating for infrastructure. When they created this day, they also endeavored to provide an opportunity to use this occasion as a tool to help parents raise kind, compassionate kids. Family volunteering can be extremely fun, regardless of the number of family members involved, and it can encourage a family to spend quality time together. Today is also commemorated as Go for a Ride Day in the US. I urge you to just get up and get out and do whatever you feel like tied to a laptop, phone, tablet screens. Become a pretty, we become a pretty sedentary bunch, a far cry from the people who discovered countries, oceans, and animals simply by getting off the couch and exploring. Make today a day to set your spirit free and enjoy your wanderlust on whatever mode of transportation suits you best. Bike, boat, car, skateboard, sleigh, or even cycle. It doesn't matter what you choose. Pick a location and you always wanted to visit and make today, and you will go. You can also visit temples, natural places, whichever you want. Just explore. Today is also commemorated as Housing Day in Canada, which observes which is observed on November 22nd. It is a day to remind us the plight of homeless people. In the US alone, there are more than 6 lakh homeless people. Shelter is one of the most important needs a person has. Housing Day reminds us the government about the immediate need to provide safe houses for people. Canada declared themselves homeless, a national disaster in 1998. After 2 years, November 22nd was declared National Housing Day. We also use the day to appreciate the efforts of the government and the concerned organizations in eradicating homelessness. Housing is a major concern for every country in the world when it comes to housing shortages. There is no difference between first and third world countries. There are an estimated 150 million people all over the globe who do not have a house to spend the night in. An independent surveys in 2015 estimated that 1.6 billion people are living in inadequate shelters. In 1998, Canada's government realized the issue of homelessness. They declared homelessness an national disaster. 2 years later, November 22nd was declared National Housing Day. Housing is not a new concept. We humans have used caves and shelters since some 170 to 2 lakhs years ago. Now houses have changed in shape, size, and utility. It is no longer just a place to shelter from the elements and wild beasts. The house is where we belong most of the time. Urbanization, the evolution of nuclear family, and cultural factors have all contributed to an increase in the desire to own a home. Nevertheless, housing is a basic human necessity, and every individual has a right to own a house. There used to be a time when being homeless was treated as a crime. Our Home Housing Day aims to change the mindset of the general population towards homeless people. It also reminds us to put forth plans to change the condition of homeless people and even provide them with new houses. Housing Day is not just about changing people's perceptions and helping homeless people. It's also about to acknowledge and appreciate the efforts of those working to create a better world for homeless people. So today is also commemorated as Human Society Anniversary Day on November 22nd every year. Signifies the establishment of Human Society International, the world's largest animal protection organization. Human Society International saves hundreds of animals from cruelty cases, and Human Society International strives to promote the human animal bond, protect and rescue animals more across the world. The Human Society International, or HSI, which recently has changed its name, is a non profit organization dedicated to promoting animal welfare. It addresses issues such as animal cruelty, including humane practices and conditions affecting companion and farm animals, illegal animal trade, animal slaughter, and use of animals in research and product testing. Humane Society International was founded in 1991 with its headquarters located in Washington, D.C. So recently, the CEO of HSI's Kitty Block Humane Society Anniversary Day is a day that celebrates the establishment of the organization. In almost 50 countries around the world, the group collaborates with national and international governments, humane organizations, animal protectionists, and animal welfare campaigners. They work together to find a solution to act against animal cruelty and to encourage an ethic of respect and compassion for all life. Human Society International also assists policymakers in drafting of animal friendly legislation, rules, policy statements, and resolutions. It promotes animal welfare through trade capacity, building projects in developing countries, and international anti cruelty campaigns. Human Society International has risen to prominence over the years, is now a regular and active participant in international events such as Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. The United Nations has also granted it Category 1A General Consultative status. Currently, there are more than 12 million supporters for Humane Society International globally, and it is the largest animal protection organization in the world with branches in all major countries, including India and Korea. Violence against animals. So, violence against animals has been linked to a higher likelihood of criminal violence and domestic abuse. So, violence against animals must be stopped. Human Society International is an organization that is recognized by all major governments of the world as well as United Nations. It is safe to donate Human Society International. Thousands of people across the world donate millions to this non-profit organization as stated by them. The best way to commemorate Human Society Anniversary Day is to treat animals with kindness every day. As a result, you can strive to assist animals in your city or neighborhood. Human Society International conducts several events across the world on Human Society Anniversary Day. You can join the events and meet fellow animal advocates. And there are many events organized. Check out in your locality. And even we organize everyday programs commemorating and celebrating various such events at one place where you can contribute. So share your intriguing stories with the world via social media. If you are an active animal activist who is continuously making a difference for animals in your neighborhood and around the world. According to the statistics, one animal is abused every minute in the world. Annually, over 10 million animals in the US itself die as a result of abuse, 10 million murders. Many brands test their products on animals with laboratories testing over 115 million animals every year. And US has over 10,000 known puppy mills. And the list goes even more. Many circuses abuse animals according to recent reports. All major circuses that use animals end up to be intentionally or not abusing them. So, despite the fact that most animals are fully capable of surviving in the wild or in cities on their own, they are subjected to a great deal of cruelty and abuse. We can be their voice, as animals needs a voice. One thing we can take home from the Humane Society anniversary is that not only humans but all creatures are created equal. We need to treat all animals with compassion and love. It teaches us about love and life. Today is also commemorated as International Survivors of Suicide Loss Day on November 22nd. That is on the Saturday before Thanksgiving. and promotes coming together and supporting the survivors of the tragic event. When someone is lost to suicide, it impacts those who knew and loved. For those people, the grief and trauma can be especially difficult to handle. This day is all about showing support and love to the survivors of suicide. Suicide has been viewed differently over time. It's both condemned and condoned depending on the location and the religion of the society. Islam, Judaism, and Christianity rates are against it. In ancient Greece, people who were convicted of crimes were allowed to take their own lives, making suicide acceptable on a conditional basis. In Rome, the principle changes near the end of the empire. So, Western society used canon law and then criminal law in an attempt to decrease the rate of suicide in the Middle Ages. The effect it had on society was minimal. However, as suicide rates remained the same, after the French Revolution of 1789, the criminal penalties for attempting suicide were abolished for European countries, but it took England until 1961 to join them. While the suicide rates for adults in the US didn't change much from 1950 to 1980, suicide rates among younger population increased significantly. Those who affected were white males aged 15 to 19, which increased by 305%, and from white males aged to 20 to 24, it was 196%. Mental health officials had to broaden their understanding and the roles that drug and alcohol, mental illness, suicide clusters, and the availability of the firearms affected society. In 1999, US Senator Harry Reid introduced a resolution that led to creation of International Survivors of Suicide Loss Day, and Reid lost his father to suicide in 1972, and the cause was close to his heart. It was then designated into Congress and placed there before Thanksgiving as a holiday season. Can be a hard time for survivors. Every year, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention supporters support Survivors Day events all over the world and peace that it brings. Today is also commemorated as Lebanon Independence Day in Lebanon, which is celebrated on November 22nd. It is spent with family and friends aside from official army march in downtown Beirut. Lebanese Independence Day is primarily observed in schools every year on November 22nd. The entire country is filled with joy and gaiety as people recall the day Lebanon gained independence. There are also fireworks displays that both children and adults look forward to. Furthermore, community sourced concerns and cultural activities to celebrate Lebanese history. The national flag is frequently displayed on Lebanon streets and buildings as a sign of country's freedom and identity, and almost every part of Lebanon is ablaze with the colors of the country's flags, red, green, and white. Today is also commemorated as National Adoption Day on November 22nd. So since 2000, in 2015 alone, 4,000 adoptions were finalized on Saturday before Thanksgiving, and events are held all over the country in the US to celebrate this day, during which communities and courts join efforts to find right families for their children in foster care system. So let's celebrate the National Adoption Day as thousands of foster children are welcomed into their forever homes. So National Adoption Day is an effort to focus attention on more than 125,000 people waiting to be adopted from foster care in the US. A coalition of national partners, the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption, Congressional Coalition on Adoption, Institute Alliance for Children's Rights, and Children's Action Network founded National Adoption. The coalition, along with the Freddie Mac Foundation, encouraged 7 cities in 2000 to open their courts on or around the Saturday before Thanksgiving to finalize and celebrate adoptions from foster care. So McKay Nash, a former presiding judge of Los Angeles County's juvenile court, inspired the first National Adoption Day. With the innovative efforts, Nash opened the court on Saturdays, engaged the volunteer efforts of court personnel, and finalized adoptions to reduce the backlog of one of the busiest courts in the nation. Today, policymakers, practitioners, and advocates collaborate to plan these annual one-day events in 4,000 US cities. Today, the dreams of 75,000 children in foster care have come true as part of the National Adoption Day events. Approximately 2 million Americans are adopted, with about 150,000 adoptions happening each year, including about 50,000 through foster care. US adoptions may either be domestic or international. Domestic adoptions can be arranged either through a state agency, an adoption agency, or independent. This week is also commemorated as New Zealand Flowers Week in New Zealand, with a special celebration that takes place during a decided week in November. It takes place from November 22 to 26 this year. It aims to promote domestic flower industry and the production and selling of cut flowers. So last year, the theme was to highlight all the hard workers behind the cut flower industry. The theme changes every year, whether it is the cut flower industry or technology supporting domestic business is a great initiative. This is exactly what New Zealand Flower Week is all about. The main aim of New Zealand's Flowers Week is to celebrate and promote locally grown flowers and to highlight the importance of industry's contribution to culture and the economy by encouraging people to buy and support locally grown flowers. Flowers, in essence, have always been an indisputable part of the majority of our lives. They might be a symbolic reflection of our feelings, emotions, and mental condition, or they can be powerful objects that can bring communities together. New Zealand, being an island situated in the southwest Pacific Ocean, is one of the most vibrant countries with colorful landscapes, a clean environment, and safe cities. Nature has bestowed New Zealand with a little more of its magic, with beautiful flora and fauna. Moreover, the international flower industry is crushing the local flower industry, putting many flower farmers out of work. New Zealand Flowers Week is a greater way to support them and return them to their glory. During the New Zealand Flowers Week, many flower enthusiasts, leading florists, and activists come together to celebrate flowers. Today is also commemorated as Aura Awareness Week. In 2002, the world began to celebrate International Aura Awareness Day every fourth Saturday in November, on November 22nd this year. Since then, more people have become aware of the auras that surround all living things. An aura is a distinctive feeling or character, the air of a person or place perceived by those who encounter or experience them. In Latin and ancient Greek, the literal word aura means wind, breeze, or breath, and it also meant a gentle breeze in medieval English. International Aura Awareness Day celebrates the valid belief in the existence of auras as energy around every creature of the world. Indian religions such as Hinduism and Buddhism have mentioned auras since time immemorial, connecting them to chakras and kundalini. As the early 19th century, the word aura already established and described a quality of energy emanating from someone or something. Particularly with the rise of New Age religions, Charles Webster Leadbeater was the first to talk about auras in that context. He was a priest of Church of England who had studied theosophy in India. Leadbeater acknowledged that he had mystic powers and he could use those powers to make scientific investigations. In his book Man Visible and Invisible, published in 1902, where he drawn the philosophies and theories from Hinduism. He illustrated man's aura in various stages. A British occultist of the 24th century, W.D. Butler was the first to link auras with the clairvoyance after discovering that they help measure the body's physical. Every human on earth has an energy field or an aura around them. This is also true for other living things such as plants and animals. Specific types of cameras capture auras, displaying them as a halos or projections of light surrounding the body. Auras have different colors which can change over time. Each color is believed to have an alternate importance. Red often depicts a fearlessness and passionate personality. Orange is an imaginative and full of emotion. Pink is a delicate and calm. White is devoted and has an uplifting positivity. Yellow has high self esteem and is confident. Green is drawn to wildlife and nature and are natural healers. Tan cherishes detail. Blue is caring. Purple has a richly powerful personality. These are the colors often seen in different auras. As human beings, we radiate a very low level of electricity that otherwise known as electromagnetic field. She became famous with the growing prominence of the Aura Camera Lab. Radiant Human, she started in 2014, where she takes portraits and reads auras. The camera in question is a Polaroid hand built by Guy Goggins in the 70s. A few people claimed to see auras around others, saying auras give an understanding of an individual convictions, thoughts, and personality. Auras can be dark too or injured, and a damaged aura demonstrates an emotional, physical, or mental issue. Meditation, positive affirmations, visualization, and energy balancing can help cleanse the aura and bring recovery when an aura is damaged. So, find your aura takes time, practice, and so why not spend the day dedicated to auras and is to do just that? Call a few friends over, get refreshments, take turns discovering your auras. Get your aura photographed. There are specific cameras that can do the job as alternative to looking for your aura user. Dig deep into different colors of auras. Your aura is vital and is even more important to know your color and watch what each color and shade signifies. Children can see auras without effort and they can sometimes unintentionally add the aura colors to their drawings. With meditation, positive affirmations, energy balancing, and a change of atmosphere, we can change our aura. If you look closely, you might see the color of your aura too. Auras are vary in color, and every color has its shades. The emotional state people communicate to others comes from their auras. So, this day, Aura Awareness Day brings joy and color to the world. Auras are full of color, and taking these special pictures to see our auras, to discover our shade, can ease negative vibes. This day is unquestionably full of light. Everyone has an aura, and nobody in the world is exempt from partaking in its International Day. Since children can easily see auras, we can make them aware of the rare skill they possess. Enlightening the kids about the auras may help them properly identify them early. So, with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you, everyone, for joining us in today's commemorations and celebrations. See you all tomorrow at the same time with the same joining link with different commemorations. Take care. Good night.